Time is never found again, or is it? By blahblahblah1703, Chapter 9. Walking into the dining cart is always a joy and a misery at the same time. Enough food to feed the entire district for multiple days. All for the four of us. If we didn't need to gain as much weight as possible, it would definitely be making me mad. But as of right now, I am just grateful that it's there. Dinner is supposed to start in the next hour, but Effie isn't here yet, probably having something else in her schedule until then. Hey Mitch is probably getting pissed drunk again, trying to forget our names before he even learns them. Because once he said, "If I name tributes, I get attached." Something I never really understood, because he named me Sweetheart immediately. Peter spots an attendant standing near the food table, obviously there for orders from the tributes for the kitchens. "Hello," Peter greets with a smile. The attendant nods back stoically. "Could you please get both of us a protein shake, or a smoothie with peanut butter? And maybe some oats, and other proteins and healthy carbs?" Peter asks politely. The attendant's eyes widen at the request, obviously never having had one like that before. He just nods and moves out of the cabin, looking back at Peter with a strange look as he leaves. Peter just smiles his lopsided, goofy grin at me, and unknowingly makes my heart want to beat out of my chest. "What?" he questions me. "I figured we need all the proteins and carbs and things we can get while we're here. And to do that, we're going to need to drink a lot of them," he said, as if I already didn't know our plan. "Oh, I'm not mad. It's just entertaining to see how other people react to your unparalleled sunshine," I say with a teasing smile. Peter just rolls his eyes, though I see his grin go up slightly at the corners of his mouth even more. He then reaches out and grabs a plate from the buffet, filling it with hummus and bread chips, avocado mash and chips, and banana chips. All healthy and high-caloric food. We share the plate as we wait for our protein drinks, well aware the two attendants on either end of the cabin are watching us closely, obviously confused and intrigued by our behaviour towards each other. The attendant brings our drinks after a few minutes, and Peter and I choke them down. Whatever they put in here doesn't taste horrible, but it isn't necessarily good either. Plus, the texture is horrible. It's a thick paste that is difficult to suck up with a straw, but gritty and almost powdery once it hits your tongue. A weird combination for sure, but I know we need to get used to them now. We're going to be drinking a lot of them before the games start. Once we finish our drinks, we have 45 minutes until dinner. A time we spend just silently watching out of the windows as the world flies by, our knees pressed together and our pinkies linked between the two of us. Fully holding each other's hand would be too obvious. Effie come waltzing into the cabin exactly 2 minutes before dinner time. "Oh, there you two are. I had looked for you in your rooms to make sure you are on time. But I see you have enough manners to do that yourself," she chirps, obviously pleased and perfectly ignorant how her comment actually sounded to us. Peter and I share a look, struggling not to laugh at having this version of Effie back. Peter stands up and offers me his hand to help me up as well, something that will both please and plant another seed into Effie's head. "Hello, Miss Trinket," Peter greets. "Should we move over to the table, or should we wait for Mr. Abernathy?" Effie crinkles her nose, obviously not inclined to wait for our mentor. "Oh, no need to wait for Hamish. He should be on his way soon, and, dear boy, there is no need for such formalities." She walks over to the table, waving us with her. "I am here to help you, and I would prefer if you call me Effie, just as I would prefer to call you by your first names as well. If you would also like that, of course," she goes on. I smile at her, the perfect picture of politeness. "Thank you, Effie. We would both like that as well," I say as I sit down. Peter gestured to a chair for me, but didn't pull it out. That would have been too far. "Wonderful," she claps. "It's decided then. Now, shall we get started on dinner?" She snaps her fingers, and attendants flood into the room with trays and drinks. Each of us is presented with an appetizer, and it is immediately apparent that Effie will get a different meal than us. Something she looks confused by. "You!" She points to an attendant who immediately hurries over to see what is the matter. It is the same one that took our protein drink order earlier. "Why is my plate different from theirs? Mine looks correct as to the menu I was provided with earlier, but theirs do not." She looks at him for an answer, obviously not happy. Sorry, ma'am.
We were given a request for a protein-filled snack earlier by Mr. Malog, and we thought that we would take the liberty to provide him, and in the interest of equality, Miss Everdeen, a meal of high protein and healthy fats, as per the request earlier," he explains, looking at us as well as doing his answer.
"Oh!" Elfie exclaims, looking at Peter with a questioning glance, obviously wanting for him to decide if he is mad or not.
"Sir," Peter begins, "thank you for taking that liberty, and it is something I, and I believe Katniss," he looks at me and I just nod along with him, "really appreciates and is grateful for," he finishes. The attendant nods. "Certainly. Would you like all of your meals to be catered this way? Just so we can pass that along to the tribute chef at the centre."
"Yes, please." I speak up. "I know I would like that, and I know Peter would as well." I nod at the attendant. The attendant looks surprised, but bows slightly at the waist as he moves back into his position. "Well, that is enlightening. Please tell me what you two think of your dishes, and why you specifically asked for this cuisine." She takes a dainty bite of food, the crunchy bread snapping as she bites through the thinly sliced meat, creamy cheese, and the charred tomato on top. Peter and I take a bite of our food. We have crispy potatoes with some meat on them, and then a layer of melted cheese with a dollop of what looks like cream on top, and some chives. We each take a bite, and I almost make an inappropriate sound. "This is really good, okay? Don't blame me." We quickly swallow our food, and I go in for another bite. "This is really good," Peter said earnestly. I nod along, feeling the meat practically fall apart in my mouth as the crispy potato crunches and the cream smooths everything out. A very good plate. Peter and I both finish fully. Not that it was a super large anyway. We finished after Effie did. However, Peter and I know we will need to take our time. Eating slowly and methodically should allow us to finish our food without throwing it all up later. Our next serving is soup. This time we all had the same one. It is very familiar and almost causes Peter to laugh immediately when he saw my eyes light up. Yep, they had served us my favourite lamb stew. If I thought the meat from the last meal was falling apart in my mouth, this one wouldn't even make it there before it fell apart. It's easily still my favourite meal of all time. The third course is a salad, a welcome refreshment after the heavy meal so far. Mine and Peter's is mostly leafy greens. We have eggs crumbled on top, as well as some walnuts and some seeds of some sort. It's topped with cheese and then little cubes of ham, and an oily but flavourful dressing. It is really good. Effie's looks completely different. Hers is different greens with cut up strawberries and almonds on top. It also has a darker dressing that she calls balsamic, and another dressing that looks like pure olive oil. Our main course is up next. We all have almost the exact same main course, just slightly different for Effie. We all have chunks of pink fish, salmon, with the lemon circles baked with it, and some green herbs. Mine and Peter's is lying on a whole wheat noodles with a green sauce called pesto, apparently, while Effie's is lying on a grain she calls quinoa. Effie also has a side of green beans, while Peter and I have roasted carrots, potatoes, and asparagus. Peter and I eat every bite of our own food, though both of us are obviously slowing down even more, filling up on this wonderful and healthy food. Thankfully, all is left is dessert. It is also something I look forward to and definitely do not want to skip. We all have different pieces of rice cake. Effie's has ice cream on top, obviously something light and whipped. Peter's and I's ice cream is almost the same, but it has the powdery taste of the drink earlier, so I know there is added protein to it. Something I need even if I don't want it at this exact moment. Once we finish every bite, it is time to watch the reapings. I pay even closer attention this time, and I would like to say I definitely improved with my ability to read people over the last 2 years. I guess working with psychopaths, one can never really trust something is actually good for something. I can see the way Marvel raised his fist in the air in triumph, having been the volunteer, though when he thought the camera wasn't focused on him, he looked slightly nervous and unsure of himself. And I see the way Glimmer winks flirtily towards the cameras. But she just looks young to me, even though she is the same age I should be. I see that Clove, for all her admittedly real and psychopathic energy, is also shaking slightly, and looks tiny in her thin 15-year-old body, next to the hulking Cato, who is as arrogant as ever. So not resembling the young man crying as he accepted his fate, death for brainwashed glory, that he was on the top of the cornucopia that night, as the mutts howled in the background, and night surrounded us like a shroud. This scale is vicious and ready, his muscles and size still as intimidating as they were the first time around, not to mention what I know is his berserker temper. Almost every single tribute, other than the careers, looks panic and resigned, like they have no hope left. Foxface, or Finch as I now know her name is, has a whirling behind her eyes that I can immediately recognise. But even she does not have much hope. For all her smarts, she's nothing against a trained career. Rue's mother and little siblings can be seen in the background crying. Her father is obviously angry, his fists clenched by his side, with another man holding his shoulder, likely holding him back from getting himself killed. Thresh looks intimidating as hell, and he knows it. His large frame is even bigger than Cato's, and next to Rue, it's almost comical how large he is. His biceps are almost the size of her torso. I can see it though, the rage simmering underneath, and as he looks to Rue, I can see his eyes soften. He isn't going to leave her behind. I can see all these things, but the only thing I can think about is the fact that all these kids will be dead within the next 3 weeks. Just like last time. Finally, District 12 is up. They play it in full, with barely any cuts. I see Prim's face drain of colour, her blue eyes wide with obvious terror, which is something Caesar also comments on. I then see myself step through the pathway made by the other 16-year-old girls. I look calm, composed even, though you can see I am determined. I am on a mission to save Prim. As Caesar puts it, I look like a mama bear ready to protect her cub. He has no idea how right he is. As Prim is picked up and taken away by Gale, they comment on his likeness to me and speculate on our family connection, whether he is a brother or a cousin. Usually I would be surprised by the Capitolites not automatically assuming boyfriends, but I know Caesar will have seen these before and will know what is coming up. He skims over the salute, unsure why no one is clapping, but can obviously tell it isn't a good thing and doesn't want to draw attention to the undertone of rebellion that wound through the recording. Peter gets called and they split the screen in half, something they haven't done for any of the other tributes. Peter looks determined, just like I did when I volunteered, and I look broken. I thought I had done enough to hide how upset I was, but apparently everyone still knows my feelings before I do. It is clearly written on my face how much agony I am in. Peter looks at me, and I look at him. And that's it. We don't take our eyes off each other once. Something that is obvious, and pointed out immediately by everyone's favourite and only host. They show our handshake, and zoom in on how we stayed linked all the way into the Justice Building. Then, after a few comments, they cut to us walking into the train, something they didn't show for anyone else either. They comment on how Peter is slightly in front of me, our hands once again clasped together, how both our faces are determined, but both of us obviously in pain as well. Caesar wonders out loud exactly what our relationship is, whether we are together or not. They really are setting up the star-crossed lovers thing again, something that can only work for Peter and I. I can see Effie look at us from her perch on her chair, but I just ignore it, not wanting to miss a minute of the reapings. They spend a few more moments making comments about Peter and I, but nothing more than speculation, and then Caesar proclaims that this should be the best Hunger Games ever! When Effie goes to open her mouth after the hollow TV shuts off, she doesn't even get to start her comment or her question. Haymitch comes stumbling out of the door. Did I miss dinner? Right on time. He once again falls right into his own puke. I am definitely not helping him clean up. Peter can do it again. And he does. My boy with the bread is too good for this hell of a world. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I really like how they describe the food. This is one bit I absolutely love in this. The different servers, the AVOXs, they all help them with their meals. And it might seem like a small thing, but it's like,
We're going to help you win. We didn't make it out, but we'll try to make sure you do. In a very quiet and subtle way so that they themselves don't get punished. I love that. A little bit of slipping under the radar. Very nice. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.